your contribution and name, then send it to 7197. Your views, our interviews on Spectrum, Radio 1 FM 90.
Hello, a very warm welcome. This is Spectrum on Radio 1. I'm your host, Edmond Kizito. On Spectrum tonight, is the Marriage and Divorce Bill a threat to the institution of marriage? One of the key bottlenecks that have caused setbacks to proposed bills on marriage and the family is the fear that such laws are a direct threat to the institution of marriage and the unity of families. Such laws have been associated with attempts to create opportunities to partners who separate whenever they feel they need space instead of concentrating on making their marriages work. This particular concern was raised shortly before the Domestic Relations Bill was rejected, with men expressing concern that women would use clauses in the law to grab the men's property. The Domestic Relations Bill was finally redrafted and given a new name, the Marriage and Divorce Bill. But even with this change, many still hold fears about the intentions of this proposed law. Proponents of the law say it's necessary as a tool of strengthening the institution of marriage and a key addition to existing laws that aim at ensuring safety and security in the family, given the high rates of domestic violence. Annually, institutions like FIDA-Uganda and the Center for Domestic Violence Prevention document and issue reports about divorce and domestic violence. Both institutions believe that the Marriage and Divorce Bill could help in dealing with situations that they have documented. As we close the analysis of the Marriage and Divorce Bill tonight, we ask, is the Marriage and Divorce Bill a threat to the institution of marriage? We also ask, how can this bill help in addressing the high cases of domestic violence and divorce? Our guests tonight, Ms. Harriet Nabankema, Legal Aid Clinic Manager at FIDA-Uganda. You're most welcome, Harriet.
Thank you.
We're also joined by Mr. Richard Makumbi, Program Officer, Gender-Based Violence Prevention Program. You're most welcome, Richard.
Thank you so much, Edmond.
There's a public perception about laws, about the touch on marriage and families, that these laws are intended to destroy marriages, encourage people to make off with property, mostly women. Why is this negative perception that persists?
I think it's because, good evening listeners, first of all. Thank you, Edmond, and I'm happy to be at Radio 1 Spectrum. I'm a good listener at Radio 1.
Thank you.
Yeah, the reasons are so many, varying, but one of the reasons I could give is the lack of information, and people are not willing to read more about this bill, the proposed law. I think that's where the problem lies. But when you look at this bill, it is a very interesting one and a very protective one to the institution of marriage. I don't know whether from this time I can go to...
Yeah, let's look at some detail.
When you look at section 140 of this bill, it talks about protection of the institution of marriage and interest of the parties. You know, the parties are talking about the spouses, the wife and the husband. And under this section 140, it talks about there will be no petition for divorce during the first 2 years of marriage, except in circumstances of exceptional hardship in the marriage. For me, I have sisters.
Yes.
I have daughters. I have relatives who are women. Do I expect them to stay in a hardship relationship because it is marriage?
Go on.
Do I? So this law comes in to protect and to provide for those people procedures on how to do their divorce. Even under our Christianity, I'm a Christian myself, there are procedures, specifically the Catholic Church.
Yes.
There are procedures for divorce.
Yes.
People can divorce in our church, although it's a long process, as it is even in this proposed law.
Right.
You have to go through several procedures.
Yes.
Even under this same law, there are procedures for you to go through for divorce. It is not a matter of just going to court and then it is divorce. No. There are procedures provided for. If you look at further on section 141, there will be of division of matrimonial property during separation, but the court may order sharing of income from matrimonial property. Any property acquired during separation is independent property. That's where, this is the reason why I'm bringing out this section 141. is where people put a lot of emphasis that this law is not there to protect marriage institutions. Because when they hear about separation and division of matrimonial property, then men like me start saying, how comes? And let me tell you, Edmond, I am a married man.
Yes.
But what my wife does at home, I remember every weekend I try to do home chores.
Yes.
But let me tell you, last weekend I went with office work to work from home.
Yes.
I failed to do it.
Because there was too much work washing the dishes.
I woke up, I had to help her because she was going for driving school testing lessons.
Yes.
I had to wake up, prepare tea, prepare sauce, prepare the meal for lunch, and mopping the house. It was almost 5. We ate almost at 5. But when she's the one doing it, we eat at around 1 p.m.
Okay.
So how can you fail to provide for procedures for such a woman
to get something out of it?
To get something if at all there is a separation or divorce.
All right. Richard, let's talk first of all about exceptional hardship. The bill says you can separate if there are exceptional hardship. What does it mean? You don't buy meat for 2 weeks?
Okay. Exceptional hardships is where this husband conducts himself in circumstances like adultery, excessive adultery. You know, women persevere a lot.
Yes.
You can go out and you commit adultery maybe once, and she forgives you.
Yes, we'll hear that.
But then, when it comes to excessive adultery,
more than 3 times.
One woman, the second one, that is exceptional hardship. Then sexual perversion. Then there is, which is sodomy, pornography, you know, homosexuality, bestiality.
Oh, pornography.
These are all in the bill.
Right.
This is what the bill talks about.
Right.
Then there is the cruelty, then desertion for 2 years without justifiable cause.
Yes.
That is exceptional hardship.
So it's
you desert your family, your wife, your children for about 2 years. This law says a woman, that spouse, can
take a walk.
Or
ask for divorce. Harriet, talk to us from your side. You're an expert, but you're also a woman. Talk to us about this possible. Why, first of all, do people still think it's a bad law, and then this, grounds for divorce?
Okay, thank you so much, Edmond. The marriage bill is only a bill that respects the family institution. We have quite a number of laws that govern a marriage. A marriage begins from a family, which is the smallest unit in society. Believe me, if at the village level, the local council chairman has a disorganized family, the whole village can mean to be disorganized. So the bill comes in to harmonize the different laws governing marriage to govern the family institution with due respect to it. My experience in FIDA is to the effect that over half of the clients received at FIDA have problems with their families. Very often, women have been deprived of their property. She wakes up one morning, decides to live with someone, and a few years down the road, a few could even mean 20 down the road, she has to walk out with nothing. The effort this woman has put in this home for the last 20 years is uncomparable. Given a brief countdown, it could be lowered to the level that, assuming this man was to buy a prostitute, it has a countdown.
Buy a prostitute. Let it pass. Go on.
Okay. Assuming this man was to have someone to do his laundry at a fee.
Right.
For the last 20 years. Assuming this man was to eat from a restaurant for the last 20 years, breakfast ABCD.
Right.
Assuming he was to have in cleaning services every other time that he needed his home clean. when all these things are monetized, we can never get the value worth for it.
Right.
We wish to acknowledge the value of a woman, and in acknowledging the value of a woman, the laws that we have at the moment recognize the contributions of a legally married woman under the forms of recognized marriages in Uganda. But it never recognizes a woman who is cohabiting.
Yes.
What is happening is the trend of cohabitation is really at an uncomparable increasing rate. So many women are cohabiting. Some are doing it by choice. Others are doing it because of the societal demand, the cost of the societal demands that they are not able to meet them. So because of this, how do we protect the cohabiting woman? If the law is maintained as is, then we are grooming citizens who are irresponsible, who are too selfish. Because if I am cohabiting with a partner, and we all know that I have no right to any of your property in this home, I really see a situation whereby the woman will have her tiny small saucepan and the man his own small saucepan. That degree of selfishness from the family institution is not pleasing for the future of this nation. Rather, have the marriage and divorce bill to harmonize the different laws that govern the marriage institution for the stability of the family. The law as is has certain gaps here and there that have been incorporated in the marriage and divorce bill to harmonize the marriage. We look at the grounds of divorce as highlighted in the bill, and apparently the degree of impunity is uncomparable. Someone walks to marry someone's daughter, and the next minute this woman realizes the man is a homosexual and openly declares to this woman that you were only a cover-up. Lucky is you to be Mrs. So-and-so. But now that you know the truth...
Is that a common thing?
It is a common thing.
But I see many, I don't know, maybe it's a myth that homosexuals tie their hair in a certain way. Can't women detect them? You look at a man wearing an earring and say, I can't go out with you.
Not necessarily. Some are really still hiding. And because of that,
like normal men?
Yes, they've been able to fool people's daughters and walked them to the aisle. These girls need to be out of those relationships at the earliest opportunity, right? Because the essence of a marriage is there has to be an intention to form a family.
Right.
Really, if I'm married to a homosexual, what is our intention?
Go on.
So by the end of the day, it's important that these issues are addressed. Women have been subjected to a lot of violence, like anal sex, that they've not had to consent to, but because of the sexual orientation of this individual.
Right. We
really feel it is high time the law addressed these issues. By the mere fact that a woman walks to FIDA and speaks out the internal story of her internal self,
it's a problem.
It means it has happened for the last probably 10 years.
And is this common? Do you get a lot of women coming in?
Exactly. And by the time they walk there,
they've suffered for quite some time.
They have suffered in silence for a very long time.
Do you have statistics on this?
We do have the statistics.
Indicative, at least. Give us an idea. Is it 1%, half a percentage point?
I really can't give it at a percentage point, but what happens is if every week at least one woman walks out.
Every week one woman walks into FIDA saying the husband is unnatural.
Exactly.
Demanding unnatural situation.
It means it is serious. It is running out of hand.
Right. And that means that many who can't make it
exactly. FIDA. Many are not coming. And on top of that, these women are subjected to this kind of torture that after the anal sex is a conditional kind of thing. It is conditional in the sense that you want maintenance, the man first stops her from working. So if she wants maintenance, she needs to obey to his demands. When she does it, she needs health treatment, and she's referred to a family doctor. She has no explanation to make to the family doctor, for goodness sake.
Well, let's put it a little, because that's quite disquieting.
So really, this bill is tiny.
Disquieting, I must say, the kind of things you're describing. Let's try to broaden it a little bit without belating what you just mentioned. Cohabiting. Why don't you just encourage women to marry? Let them have a simple wedding. It doesn't have to be, with many flowers. Instead of
That's
promoting
right.
cohabitees to continue in their relationship, lose relationships.
Okay, what happens is marriage is a choice. What is the willingness of the opposite party?
Well, if you stayed together 10 years, why should you stay together for 10 years if you don't have a contract?
It's a choice.
Well, you can encourage them instead, because after 20 years she'll be washing the dishes and then she walks out with the saucepan.
We have a bill that is going to mediate the issue of people who are already in the cohabiting relationship.
The areas, the backdrop.
Exactly.
How about the ones in the front?
We keep encouraging women to get into these marriages.
Proper
Not
marriages,
to say that
not for cohabitation.
Yes. Not to say that everybody in a proper marriage is actually having it all.
Well, but there's a contract. You can take it
Yes,
forward.
but at divorce, still there is a lot of resistance. A man will comfortably say, I spent
but
money to
someone who
build.
cohabited does not have anything to show for it. They cannot, it's only their word. Maybe they had children, maybe they did not. But if they have a contract, a wedding certificate, they can claim certain things.
That's right, but why get into a marriage for property? The essence of a marriage
No,
is...
it's an incidental, it happens.
The essence of a marriage is to form a family.
Yes.
I wouldn't want it to be because I need to secure a bit of iron sheets,
Right.
a bit of a bed and cups. No. We must have the intention to form a family.
Right. Okay. Richard, let's talk about this bill. Is it possible to have harmony in a family without this bill?
Harmonious family.
Yes.
Let me tell you, Edmond. Let me start with this statement. As proponents for this law, we are not promoting divorce, but we are saying let there be a law which can provide for remedies if at all there is need for divorce or separation. What we do as civil society organizations, as she has said, my colleague, we do promote harmonious, healthy, happy, safe relationships. You get my point?
Yes.
I have mentioned 3 words: healthy, happy, safe relationships.
Yes.
But if a relationship reaches a stage where there is no happiness, where it is not safe and not healthy,
Yes.
there is need for divorce and separation.
Happiness.
Or separation. But
Happiness is a broad thing.
happiness
Yes.
is someone to feel comfortable, someone to feel joy,
Someone might say, don't take me to the nightclub for 2 years. Have you created parameters for that?
No, in this bill we don't go to that nitty-gritty. But this bill provides for remedies if at all there is need for divorce or separation. But let me tell you, Edmond, it is because people dwell so much on divorce. But the biggest part of this bill is about the institution of marriage, how it should be, how it should run. It is to organize this institution. As she has talked about cohabitation, people are in cohabitation for 20 years. And it is not because they don't want to go for formal marriages. It is because of the natural. It is they were caught up that they were cohabiting. Do you know that most of the people in our culture, I come from Uganda, for them they don't look at cohabitation as cohabitation the way we know it.
They think it's marriage.
They think it is marriage. So it's a big number of our people, because of their thinking and their attitudes, they think they are in marriage. And you go to a place like Chiboga, where I stayed for more than 9 years. Those people in Chiboga, Yochankwas, they know that for them cohabitation is marriage. Can you imagine? Such people down there in those rural areas.
Right.
If you don't put a law in place like this one, if at all there is separation, and most of the times it is us men who initiate separations or divorces. It is not women, I'm telling you.
Right.
And the way we do it, we don't go to places like FIDA. No, we just commit violence to them. We suffocate them with emotional violence, economic violence, the desertion I talked about. Then a woman is forced to go for divorce or separation. So we do promote for harmonious families.
Right.
But if at all they fail and there is no law. But do you know that, Edmond, that there is Marriage Act and there is Divorce Act in this country?
Yes.
So this law is just coming in to put more juice and more fresh
Yes.
to these laws, bring them together. But these laws, they do exist.
To harmonize them, put them
To
in one
harmonize them so that we can have a stronger law. But they do exist. I don't know why people are getting scared about divorce.
Right.
The Divorce Act is there. It is only that the courts of laws have removed certain sections because they found them not wanting. There are rulings over them. I didn't quote them when I was coming here, but I would have given you those facts. So you can see we have these laws. But why people are getting scared about this bill when we already have the Divorce Act?
So you're saying there's really not too much that's new in it?
I'm saying there is something new, there is something fresh in it, expounding on it. You know, these laws were made long time ago.
True.
When even the society in Uganda, the community, we are still small in population, people were not learned so much. These laws were made for us by other people. So we are trying to make a law which can fit into our society's traditions. You imagine, under this bill, it talks about customary marriage. In Uganda, we believe so much in introduction ceremonies. You get that certificate from Mengo,
it's done.
You are married. So it talks about that. What's wrong with that, being in this law? It talks about Christian or other religious marriages.
So the certificate from Mengo will be considered as a marriage certificate?
In law, you get that certificate. It is because your parents have consented and the two of you have consented.
Right.
Most of the times you need to go to the registrar to register your certificate of marriage under the previous marriage. But under this law, this bill, when you get that certificate from the introduction, you're married.
You're married.
Yes.
So Mengo will have the authority to marry.
Because it is recognized under this law. Why don't
customary marriage?
Yes, it is customary marriage. Why don't people go for that? It is customary. You go for introduction, you don't have money for wedding, you're done.
It's done.
Yes.
Listeners, this is Spectrum on Radio 1. Tonight is the Marriage and Divorce Bill a threat to the institution of marriage? You will be able to call in later after a short commercial break. I'll read out the numbers when the time comes. Let's talk about domestic violence. Do you think this bill will help at all with domestic violence? Will it reduce the incidence of that?
Yes, it will handle some cases. You know, under the Domestic Violence Act 2010, it provides for protection orders. It provides for local councils to caution, to warn, to give smaller punishments, even in the other courts, protection orders and warnings and whatever. But under this law, it will provide for a remedy of someone pulling out herself from that relationship where there is no happiness, where there is no safety, where there is no love, where the relationship is not healthy. So it will help people to move away from relationships they feel they are not comfortable with.
And they are protected. When they go out, they don't go empty-handed.
Yes.
They can't.
Just imagine a woman like my wife. Yes. We have 3 children.
Yes.
And then she just goes. We have made some money and we have properties, assets. She just goes without anything. She has endured all the labor in the home, washing, preparing food for you, doing everything for you.
Right.
If we
even the smile,
even the welcome, that welcome back, it gives you hope that tomorrow will
emotional support.
Yes.
Well, this is Spectrum. We'll be back after this break. Do stay tuned.
Maria!
Hey, Ma, what are you doing here?
I forgot to spread on the other slice, Maria. Take this.
Hey, Mrs. Makumbi, what are you doing here?
You know, Blue Band helps my child grow. That's why I spread on every slice.
Every slice spread with Blue Band is an opportunity for your child to grow. So mums, spread on every slice. Daily Blue Band, daily growth.
Is your internet provider turning your world upside down? Broadband Company offers fast and reliable internet solutions. And for the first 100 subscribers this month, we offer 0 connection fees. Save up to 400,000. For more information on these offers, call toll-free 0800 222 111.
Broadband Company, more than you expect.
Spectrum on Radio 1 FM 90 is brought to you by Stanbic Bank.
Welcome back on Spectrum. Tonight is the Marriage and Divorce Bill, a threat to the institution of marriage. Our guests tonight, Miss Harriet Nabankema Legal Aid Clinic Manager at FIDA-Uganda, that's a women lawyers group, and Mr. Richard Makumbi, Program Officer, Gender-Based Violence Prevention Program. You will be able to call in later and contribute to this discussion. Harriet, let's pick up something that you mentioned earlier, something that talks about leadership. You say,
Edmond. Yeah, I work with CEDOVIP, Center for Domestic Violence. People might think I'm from FIDA, yes.
Right, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Thanks for that correction. Harriet, you said something about if an LC leader in the village is not treating his wife well, it's going to cascade down. Can you explain that a little bit in detail?
The local council courts have a certain mandate under the law, especially under the Domestic Violence Act. And if I know the local council chairman's home, there's a lot of disorganization, he keeps beating his wife, why would other people report to him?
Yes.
Instead, people are going to use it as a trend to learn from